Beautiful soul, have you ever wanted to speak to angels? Do you believe angels can support you in your daily life? If this is you, go onto my website, theangelmedium.com, and sign up for our email list. As a gift for signing up, I'm going to send you 31 healing meditations that if you do daily, they're going to help you tap into your angels and your own intuition. Start using these today and you'll start to see changes in 31 days. Now take a deep breath. Ask your angels to surround you with love, fill you with joy, infuse you with ease. And remember, your angels say that any messages that resonate with you in today's episode are meant just for you. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Angels and Awakening podcast. I'm your host and author, Julie Jancius, and today we're here with Autumn, who has 4, I believe, beautiful angel stories to share with us. Autumn and I actually first met because you were one of the people, I don't know if people know that I still do this, but I pick a winner still every single month for a 20-minute free reading with me if somebody left like a 5-star positive review. And we always keep like everybody's name in until they win. But you and I met. And I was like, okay, you're completely going to go through the Angel Reiki school. I didn't tell you all of that though. You just kind of came into it and we've become close since. So I'm just so excited for people to get to meet you, Autumn.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And I love how spirit brings people together in just all these different ways. So that was a great connection. But I know you're here today to talk about your angel story. So I'm going to let you take it away and share your first one.
All right, perfect. Actually, the first one kind of relates back to the Angel Reiki school. So
Yay.
Back in like 7th grade, I would say I was in 7th grade. I didn't have like the best childhood. I was alone most of the time, and I was blow drying my hair, and I had a closet door, and it was a skeleton door, so like it didn't really ever open.
Okay.
And when I was blow drying my hair, there was like an energy force. It was very positive, very uplifting, and it caught my attention. And being that young, I think I was kind of scared because I was home alone. And so I turned the blow dryer off, and I kind of just like kneeled down to cover my face because I didn't know what was happening. And I all of a sudden was like praying to God, like because I wasn't sure what was happening. And all of a sudden I felt a tap, 2 taps on the left side of my shoulder. And I heard, and I always thought this was like my higher self coming to tell me that, I'm okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm needed. And, I'm going to do things in life. And I was like, well, when am I needed? Like who is here? What's going on? And she said, when you're 26, she's like, when you're 26, you will know exactly what's going to happen. So then fast forward, I won the session with you, and you put me through the Angel Reiki school. I'm 26 now. The Angel Reiki school helped me unlock so many of my gifts. I mean, I'm still learning. It's a learning experience. You're going to continue to learn.
Even big healers like Teresa Caputo, I've heard John Edwards say it. I've heard everybody, like all the big names say, you are still learning for the first 5 years. Like you're going to have new things come in. Doesn't mean that you don't know what you're doing. Just means, I always get a kick out of when I watch Teresa's show, or listen to her podcast where she's like, you can't make that shit up. And I'm like, no, you can't. Like, that's the best thing about it.
Exactly.
Like you're going to continue to learn more and more and more over five years. And that's true, authentic, like energy coming from her when she gets really surprised, because I feel that all the time, even when new stuff comes in.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And there comes a point where you're like, okay, I really can't make this up anymore. So yeah, it was just like amazing how literally everything that I looked forward to from that point to when I was 26, like it happened. And that was so validating for me because, again, the Angel Reiki school, I recommend it to so many people. It is unbelievable. Just unlocking all of the gifts that you hold within, and then the cohorts you meet and the people you meet, and staying connected and just creating that community.
Yay. That's awesome. That's awesome. So talk to me more about your angel stories too.
Okay, so then the next one is you always talk about like how they drop little nuggets or like pieces to you. So I would say about 3.5, maybe 4 years ago, my daughter and I's favorite like bookstore is Half Price Books.
Yeah.
And my daughter was way past her nap time, but for some reason I was being pulled into the store. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to risk it. There must be a new book. Something's going on. So my daughter and I go in there, and she goes first and picks out a book. Well, after that, she was just ready to go. Like she was done, lights out. She was throwing a tantrum. And I walked past this bookshelf, and all of a sudden a book fell. And it was a blue book. So when I picked it up, I didn't read it. I just seen like the color to like try to put it back in. And I'm like, okay, I'm too overwhelmed. I'm just going to buy it, and then I'll return it tomorrow, or it'll give me an excuse to come back.
Yeah.
So I get home and I look at the book, and the book is literally titled, I Am Psychic. Yes, I actually have it somewhere close, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just read the first chapter. Like, what is the coincidence of this? And in the first chapter, it was really based on like meditating.
Yeah.
So I did my meditation for the first time ever from that book. And, that was the start of my whole healing process to get me where I needed to be healed in order to be where I needed to be when I was 26. And before I started meditating, I had a hard time leaving the house. I would get really bad. I would get sick. Like I had really bad anxiety, and, just all like the meditation from that book, from the angels, because I know it was like meant to be, just really helped me heal myself internally to be able to just take that time and that space to
talk about the process of that for you, because that doesn't just happen overnight for most people. So was that like a 3-month process for you? Was that a 6-month process? Like what did that process look like?
Well, when I first started meditating, it was really hard. I would get a headache. It was like I would sweat a lot. I would say it wasn't too fun, but something about it was very calming for me. And I knew that I was like creating a space between my egoic mind and my intuition, because after meditating for, I would say 3 months continuously, I wasn't just reacting, to certain things. I wasn't like as triggered. I was like calm and, thinking about the way that I wanted to react. So that really just, helped me lean more with my intuition than my egoic mind, I would say.
That's awesome, Autumn. Okay, I'm going to have you tell your next story.
Okay, this is where it gets good. So my best friend passed away in, I want to say 2019 or 2018. And he's always just, been by my side from when we were younger. And even now, he's still like my number one. And I had a dream. And in this dream, I was like packing up, and I kept finding little things from him. I'm like, oh my goodness, look, this is Dustin's. This is Dustin's. And then outside of my window, a car accident happened. And that's how he passed away, was a car accident. So I opened my curtains, and his face was just right outside the other side of the window. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And I was like, aren't you dead? That's what I said. And he's like, no, Autumn. He's like, I'm living more than ever now. He's like, I'm working. He's like, I'm nonstop. I'm happy. I'm alive. And I'm like, well, if you're alive, you need to come in my front door and give me a hug. I'm like, come give me a hug. and Julie, he didn't come in my front door. He didn't come in my front door. And when I had woke up the next morning, I beat myself up. I was like, he came to me. I pushed him away. I didn't, get that hug. And I was very upset, like until my fiance came home from work. So this is where the story gets good. My fiance, his love language is definitely not gifts. Okay. He doesn't just bring home gifts. And so that night he brought me home a gift, and it was a specific tool that Dustin would use. And on this tool, it was from our favorite movie, Cheech and Chong, that we used to watch all the time. And my fiance, like, this was totally out of my fiance's range of gifts anyways. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, Dustin, you walked through my front door and not only did you give me a hug, you gave me a gift. And I literally just could not believe that happened. And I knew it was from him. I knew it was from him.
So did you ask your fiance, like, what inspired this, or like?
Exactly. So he said that, so he was going into the smoke shop to get like these carts that he uses, the pods.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that when he was walking out, he stopped and he's like, Autumn has to have this. Like, Autumn just has to have this. And he said that there was no second guessing it. Like, he just had this crazy urge that I needed it. And he was so right. I really did need it, because he's not very well. Actually, my next story is a really good one about this, but he was he doubted me a lot. He doubted me a lot with my intuition and just like the things that I would say. So I didn't really tell him about this dream, and he still came home with this gift. So it was like, you know, I had to tell him about the dream then.
Well, the funniest thing about this, though, too, is that when he heard the voice inside that shop, Autumn has to have this. That's where we talk about on the podcast. That wasn't him.
Oh my goodness, you're so right.
That was Dustin coming through and saying that to him.
Yes. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. That is amazing.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so how does this unfold into the next one? I got to hear this.
Okay. There's a lot more stories in between, but I won't go into them. But my fiance is like, okay, you know, I've been dating you for 7, almost 8 years, and something has definitely changed these last few years. And I don't know if he wasn't believing me. So we were on our way home from my grandma's house in the car, and Dustin came through and was like, ask him what he wants to see. I'm going to validate it for him, but he has to promise that he will never doubt you again. Okay. So I say this to him. I'm like, oh, Mark. I'm like, so, you know, I'm hearing Dustin again. And I'm like, he wants you to pick something that you want to see, and he is going to bring it through for you, but you can't ever doubt me. I said, you have to promise me right now you will not ever doubt me again. And he's like, oh, okay. So Julie, what he asked to see was a cardinal in its nest with its babies. Okay, this was like,
I have never seen this, and I see cardinals all the time.
I have never seen this either. So I'm psyched out. Like I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, I can't bring this back now, you know, like, please. So then I'm like telling him, you know, well, the way spirit works sometimes is you might see it in a picture, or if you're at a store and there's a cardinal with, you know, babies in a nest, and it's like, like a figurine, you know.
He's thinking to yourself, I need the real thing.
Exactly. So, no, I'm starting to sweat. I'm literally starting to sweat. And so he's at work actually 2 weeks later, 14 days later, he is at work, and he calls me and he's like, Autumn, he's like, I will never doubt you again. He's like, you wouldn't believe this. And I'm like, what happened? What happened? Did you just get fired? I didn't know what happened. And then he's like, I'm packing up my equipment, and the homeowner comes out and says, hey, be careful by that bush. And when Mark had looked, a cardinal flew out of the bush. So Mark said, by that cardinal? And the homeowner says, yes, actually, it's that cardinal's nest. Please be careful. And so Mark's like, oh my goodness. He's like, he's like, are the babies in it? And the guy's like, yeah. And Mark's like, can I please get pictures of this? Can I please get pictures? And he's like, I will do one up. He's like, follow me inside. Follow me inside. So Mark follows this homeowner inside his house, and outside, like, of his kitchen window, this bird's nest was right there. Like, no sticks, no leaves, no nothing in front of this bird's nest with the babies of cardinals in it.
Oh, this might be one of my favorite episodes in the last 3 years that I have ever done. That is incredible.
Yes, well, it was amazing.
Friend, if the idea of connecting to your angels and changing your life using your very own spiritual gifts sounds amazing and is deeply resonating with you today, I want you to go on my website and check out my angel membership. Registration is open. Sign up today and you'll get access to new course content and events each week and a private community. Members love how everything you need for your spiritual awakening is all in one place. Sign up today. Angel membership. It's incredibly healing. Also, the winner of this month's free reading with me is in the show notes below. Leave a 5-star positive review of my podcast or book, and you could be next month's winner. Lastly, check out the upcoming events page on my website, theangelmedium.com, because we have a lot of upcoming events that I know you're going to be interested in. What I love about like getting to know you, Autumn, is that I see so much of like my early journey in you, and spirit comes through with these things to validate all the time and to pull us closer to the ones that we love and to show them so that they can be a part of your team here to support you. And I had a moment similar to that when I was first starting, and my husband was like, yeah, Julie, you're just seeing a lot of like numbers. Like this is not like you're seeing 111, but like you're making yourself see it. And I was like, all right, well, and then the next word out of his mouth, we were turning left because you live near me. So we were over by like the Whole Foods down the street,
Okay.
and we're turning left to go home. And he goes, you want me to stop for gas? And I go, sure, So he's really sweet. He gets out, he pumps the gas, and he knocks on the window. He's never knocked on the window before. And he takes the receipt, just kind of like, what was that movie with Ben Affleck and back in the day? And he's like, you like them apples? My husband goes, it was like 11.11111111. And he goes, I won't doubt you. And that's what it was. And I thought, oh, thank you, Lord, because it's so much easier to have somebody as a partner, as a teammate who supports you, who doesn't think you're crazy, because we think we're crazy enough as we're going through this. I mean, going through the awakening process can really make you question legitimately whether or not you're crazy. So to have somebody on your team that's your partner, like your partner, I mean, it's the best.
It really is. It really is. And it was literally the perfect timing. I think that happened in August, and then I started the Reiki school in January. So it was like, and he was there. He was supporting me. He was there the whole time. He was just very, it really did a whole like 360 for him, and a light switch turned on.
Okay, so you have to tell people, so as you went through like the Angel Reiki school, a lot of people don't realize that the Angel Reiki school is like 4 different training programs in one. Like you don't have to go to Reiki training because you're learning energy healing training in the school. You don't have to go to mediumship school because you're learning that in the Angel Reiki school. You don't have to go to like an angel reader, angel messenger program because you're learning that in the school. And you don't have to go through like different business programs because you're learning how to start your business in the school. And I loved like your cohort. I feel like everybody got these really big validators while they were in there, the volunteers that they were working on. Talk about some of the moments that you got in the program where you were like bringing stuff through to a person you didn't know and being like, holy cow, I could not have known this.
Exactly. Okay. So in the beginning, it was a little intimidating, because I was like, so on like that second week, you're not really sure what you're doing. You're just feeling energy. But by that like 4th week and that 6th week, I mean, I was volunteering for multiple people, like, and one, like I was bringing through their mothers and, just different stories and circumstances. And it's so funny because it's exactly like you say, you just see this image pop up in your head,
Yep.
And it doesn't mean anything to you, but you just say the first thing that you're seeing, and they validate it so much. And, it's really, just the way that you do the angel Reiki school in general, people I feel like are scared to do it because they don't want to overwhelm themselves.
Yeah.
But it's literally a week of videos and then a week of volunteers. And I really feel like the way that you space it, it's a lot. It's not a lot. It's not a lot to handle. It's very easy and easy to manage. And just the attunements themselves, like the first attunement was, definitely needed. But by that third attunement, I mean, I felt like I had everything I needed. Mind you, I didn't, but I just from going, 4-5 weeks, it was just like really, really validating and reassuring.
That's so awesome. I'm so excited for you, Autumn. Did you have another angel story? I didn't want to
You know, I do have another angel story that I'll tell you really quick.
Yeah.
This one is to do with Dustin as well. And it's just really a validating story. So most days I wake up at 5 a.m. to automatic write or just write out my dreams. I listened to one of your podcasts about like how in the morning it's like you're most connected.
Yep.
And so I started setting an alarm, and whatever I write down. And so about a month ago, Dustin wrote me in an automatic letter at 5 a.m. stating, that there's going to be changes in my life. I'm going to change my career. Hold tight, because I'm a stressor. I tend to stress sometimes. And, he was really reassuring me not to stress. I needed to do this. I needed to get a new job. And he knows I love my validation. So in this automatic writing letter, he wrote, to validate, look for a license plate with 514 on it. And so that day I quit my job and not saying that he told me to, but it was just the time. Like I knew it was the time. I quit my job. And so then I'm like all in my head, and I go and pick my daughter up on the way from Winfield to my daughter's school. I'm like looking at every license plate, nothing. I'm looking from like my school home or my daughter's school home, nothing. But after I picked my daughter up from school, I heard him say, it's going to be on something you love. It's going to be on something you love. And so then I start looking on billboards. I'm looking on houses I love, like the addresses, completely forgetting that he said license plate. And so at this point, I'm turning down my road and I'm like, Dustin, I am not leaving the house the rest of the day. And I need this validation more than anything. Like I have 5 houses to go and I'm just freaking out. And so when I turn into my driveway on my fiance's car, on his license plate, 514. I'm like, oh my goodness, just the way that things work like that. I'm like, oh, thank you. Because I mean, you can imagine the panic I was in.
Yes.
Looking, but
I totally get it.
If we have time, I have one more, but I don't know if it's much of an angel story.
Sure.
So when I was 4 years old, I had, my brother was getting ready for school and I was jealous because he was going to school and I wasn't. And he's like, do you want to go outside and play? And I'm like, no, I don't want to go outside and play with you. But then I changed my mind. And the door that we had at my house was a storm door. So it would open, it would close, and then it would open and it would like slam shut. So I changed my mind like immediately after he went out the door. And I was running, and the door was open and it happened to slam shut on my arms.
Oh no.
So my arms were like completely, you can imagine, a mess. And I had over 1,000 stitches. I had staples. I had plastic surgery. But I remember being very calm. The ambulance ride, I kept getting a bunch of stuffed animals. They were keeping me calm. The hospital actually had a plastic surgeon from Chicago fly to the Morris Hospital that was closest to begin like surgery immediately. And the surgeon had told my parents, like her arm's probably not going to function. She probably won't be able to play sports, because they had to reconstruct everything. I mean, my arm was cut open. And
wow.
My arm is perfectly fine. You can kind of
I
maybe
can't see anything.
the scar like goes from here all the way like up, and then I have one back here,
Wow.
here as well. But the best part of the story is not only is like a miracle that my arm is perfectly fine, but in 8th grade, I had this teacher, and I am like, I know you. I was like, I know you. And she's like, well, who are you related to? So I start telling her, everyone I'm related to. And she's like, no, doesn't ring a bell, doesn't ring a bell. So then like middle of the school year, she starts talking about like her past careers. And she goes to say how she was a paramedic. And one of her most memorable moments was when a little girl ran through a glass door. And she said that she just wonders how that little girl is doing now, because the day that something so terrible had happened, that little girl had so much light to her. And she said that it has helped her on her bad days to realize that there's still, so much light to things. And that little girl was me. That little girl was me. So I did know her. And it went, yeah, again, that's just a very touching story. So
Yes.
very, very.
This is why we're starting a spiritual kids podcast, because kids need to be empowered to trust that. You knew it right away, and you were right.
Yep, exactly. And I mean, she probably looked different. I mean, I was 4 at the time, and then 8th grade, so I was probably 14, 10 years later. And I still, like her soul, I still knew her. I knew her. So,
wow.
Yeah,
That's incredible. Autumn, I feel like you should share that on the Spiritual Kids podcast. That'd be really fun.
I would love to. Absolutely. Yes, I would love to.
Definitely. Oh, awesome. Well, Autumn, thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome.
Are an amazing soul.
Thank you.
And I know that we're going to be working together because you're volunteering a little bit for me, which I'm so grateful for too. And always looking for volunteers, but thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me on. It was a blast.
Yeah.
It was a blast. Thank you.
Of course. All my love, friend.
Bye.
Bye. Friends, if you want to share your angel story, you can hop on over to theangelmedium.com, where you can share your angel story, and we'll make sure that you get on the show. Thank you so much for being here today. All my love. Beautiful soul, thank you so much for joining me today. My name's Julie. You know I'm all about connecting you with messages from your angels and loved ones on the other side. If you've been listening today and you're super excited and just have to know which angels are sitting around you now, who's connecting with you, and how they're supporting you, go to theangelmedium.com. Register for a virtual session. You can do a reading with me or a member on my team. We're all incredible. We all talk to angels daily, and we can help you in making sure that your angels are doing the best they can to support you and guiding you to the life you want to live. Virtual sessions, they're only offered on my website, never offered on social media, only offered on theangelmedium.com. Sign up today. And if you're the person who's really excited, you're ready to go all in developing your unique spiritual gifts, growing your intuition, starting your own healing business, you can sign up for my Angel Reiki School to become a certified angel messenger. That's for the healers among us who feel called to grow their intuition to the max and serve humanity with their gifts. You'll learn energy healing, mediumship, how to deliver angel messages, and business mastery skills. That's the Angel Reiki School. You can find more information on theangelmedium.com or DM me over on Instagram at Angel Podcast with any questions you have. Friends, before you go, connect with your angels by placing your hand on your heart, taking a deep breath. Imagine a doorway filled with God's unconditional love in front of you. I want you to step into that love in front of you. And I want you to feel it as it fills your body, your chakras, and your auric field. Now ask your angels, what would you have me know today? And open yourself to the positive, loving messages they have just for you.